If you watch YouTube videos about traveling in Japan, you may find that a lot of travel guides suggest you buy the Japan Rail Pass, which is a pass tourists can buy for 7 or more days that allows unlimited travel on most Japan Rail services trains, buses, even a ferry throughout the country, and including many high speed Shinkansen bullet trains. Prior to the end of 2023, this pass was almost a no brainer because it was incredibly cheap by 2023 standards, having been the same price for almost 40 years, and you could use it to travel around Japan cheaply and easily without making reservations beforehand. Well, at the end of 2023, this all changed, as the price of the Japan Rail Pass increased by as much as 77% for one version of the pass. Suddenly, the basic 7-day pass, which cost 29,650 yen before the change, would set you back 50,000 yen. You may find it confusing if you're seeking information on traveling in Japan because a lot of videos, blogs, and other media made before the 2023 price hikes recommended the pass without hesitation, while many that are made after that do not. I have traveled using the Japan Rail Pass prior to the change, and have visited Japan a couple of times since, and I no longer buy the pass. Here are 6 reasons why I no longer feel the Japan Rail Pass is a good value when visiting Japan. As a side note, my recommendations apply to the nationwide Japan Rail Pass. There are many regional and area passes that could, under some circumstances, make more sense. Number 1. First, and probably most obvious, is that buying the pass is now almost always more expensive than buying tickets separately. A 7-day green pass, that is the first class car on Shinkansen and some other trains, costs around 478 US dollars for 7 days. In contrast, a one-way ticket from Tokyo to Osaka on the fastest train, the Nozomi, costs around $107 if you buy ahead of time on SmartEX, and the Nozomi is faster than the ones you can use on the pass. We recently made a video on the different types of Shinkansen, which I'll link in the description below if you're interested. And we've also made a video tutorial showing how to book a train on SmartEX with some good information about train travel in Japan. That will also be linked below, so please check it out. But back to our numbers. At $107 per one-way ticket between Tokyo and Osaka, I'm using that as an example because it's the most traveled tourist route, you would need to take 5 of those trips in a 7-day period to come out ahead. Unless you plan on spending the 7 days riding a lot of trains, you're not going to come out ahead with the pass. Which brings us to number 2. The pass has to be used on consecutive days. Unlike the Eurail Pass in Europe, there is no option to buy a Japan Rail Pass to use on non-consecutive days. As soon as you take your first ride, your 7 days starts, which, as we alluded to before, makes it very difficult to get value out of it if you're spending time in each location to which you travel. Number 3, you have to pay extra for the Nozomi or Mizuho trains. Again, check out our video below on the different types of Shinkansen. Essentially, the fastest bullet trains are not included in the Japan Rail Pass unless you pay a supplemental fee, which ranges from 4,170 to 8,140 yen per ticket. Remember our $107 ticket from Tokyo to Osaka in the first example? That same ticket would cost an extra $30+ to ride using your rail pass, for which you have already paid the $478. The trains included on the pass are hardly slow, they just make more stops, but it's just one more way the rail pass falls short for me these days. Number 4. Although the Japan Rail Pass includes local and express trains and other forms of transportation, these are sometimes not the most convenient ways to travel. Going around Tokyo, for example, you may find yourself using the JR line sometimes, and if you have the pass, those trains will be free. But oftentimes the subway is actually the quickest way to get to where you want to go, which means you'll either be paying for another form of transportation or using your rail pass to get you there more slowly. My preferred way of getting into Tokyo from Haneda Airport is also not included in the pass, so even when I had the rail pass, I still paid to get into the city more quickly. This is also true as it pertains to other rail companies. There are a bunch of them in Japan that may offer a better or a faster way to get somewhere than what you can use on the Japan Rail Pass. You may decide to take the Kintetsu line to Nara from Osaka or Kyoto, for example, which isn't part of the JR Rail Pass. Number 5. The pass isn't really beneficial as a last minute option as of now, although this may change. You may think having the pass and having the flexibility of riding any train without having to plan ahead is worth the extra cost, as it often is in Europe if you don't want to book your trains ahead of time. But in Japan, at least for now, the ticket costs the same if you walk up and buy it an hour before as it would if you bought it ahead of time, with the caveat that there are sometimes discounts for buying early. Again, check out our video on SmartEX. Japan is already in the process of switching to dynamic pricing, however, so that could change. Depending on how it's implemented, you could pay much more for a last-minute train ticket, just like you do an airline ticket. In that case, the flexibility of the pass may come into play. But as of now, in late 2024, that is not the case. Number 6. Finally, the IC card system in Japan is so convenient, it really is just easier to go that route than mess with a rail pass when you're using any other form of transportation other than the Shinkansen. You can load your IC card with cash and use it on subways, local trains, and several express trains and other forms of transportation. Plus, the IC card is accepted at convenience stores, many restaurants, and is a form of payment at tons of shops and stores in Japan. You can get an IC card like the Suica on your iPhone or your Android and charge it on the go, which makes it the ultimate convenient way to get around. In a future video, we'll talk about the IC card system and why it's so great. So there you have it. Those are the 6 reasons why I think the Japan Rail Pass no longer makes sense, at least in the majority of cases. There may be some exceptions to this, of course, and if you want to ride the rails for a week straight, this may be the cheapest way to do it. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please like it and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching.